No. Alper, please unmute.
Yes, just like we prepared this sketch. Hello, everyone. So welcome to New Voices Fireside 21. It's so good to see you all. And today our topic is like the one you chose 2 meetings ago. It's Young Lions and Leo's success stories. So it's almost Christmas. It's almost New Year's. It's almost holidays. But before we go to a ski resort, let's meet some young lions. So, dear Alex, she will be my co-moderator today.
You tell me.
No, Amelia will be our technical wizard today, and Carla will greet you in the chat box.
May God bless you, Pauline.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Alex, the floor is yours.
Hi, Lions friends. As Alper mentioned, our topic today is Young Lions and Leo's success stories. And our keynote speakers are Lions 2 Young from UK, who is Vice District Governor, and Lion Marco Acola, who is District Governor of District 108 IB4 Milano. Thank you guys for being with us today. We're so excited to hear the stories about your Lions journey and achievements so far. Please remember that each one of you has 12 minutes for your story. Stu, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Is this 12 minutes or 12 Lion minutes? Because we know that Lions minutes go on and on and on, as we've heard at many charters in our past. Good evening. My name is Lion Stu Young, and I have the privilege of being a member of Multiple District 105 in the British Isles, and I'm a member of District CW. I want to tell you a little bit about my Lions journey. But before I do, I need you all to make me a promise. I need you to promise me that you're not going to tell my father what I've put on the next slide. Could I have the next slide, please? Yep. In May 2018, my dad did know best. I had spent 30 years trying to avoid being a lion. Stu, come and help at this barbecue. No. Stu, come and do this on the beach. No. Stu, come and help at this diabetic screening event. Ah, okay, Dad, why? We need a nurse. So I got up at some silly time in the morning and went up into the Troodos Mountains in Cyprus to see and to help my dad's club do diabetic screening. Now, my dad is the second from the right in the photograph, and unfortunately, I have to say he was right, because I had my Lions moment. Before I'd even been badged up to become a member, I'd realised just what being a lion is and how we can make a difference to people's lives. On that day, we found some 6 diabetics and we saved 1 man from septic shock. So I searched Facebook when I got home and I found my local Lions Club. And in September 2018, I was badged up as a member of Coventry Leofrit Lions in the International President's Year of Goodrun. Next slide, please. And as every Lions club knows, the thing you don't do to our new members is throw them in at the deep end. I was badged up in September. Our club secretary left in October, and the club president told me that the best way to learn about how our Lions club work is to become club secretary. Baptism of fire, but got to find out some amazing things that we in my club did. Next slide, please. Having been a Lion for less than 12 weeks, my then district governor, Stuart Sherman Khan, who is a past council chairman of the British Isles now, suggested that I went on the British Isles Symposium. Now, this was the brainchild of Phil Nathan and Jeff Leader, past international directors. And I went along to a weekend of fun, of fellowship, and a weekend where I realized what our global causes actually are, what we as Lions can actually do. And that it's not just about being in a small club, in a small city, in a small country. It's actually part of being part of an international association. So I went back to my club, full of ideas and enthusiasm, and kind of turned my club on its head. We went from doing no service activities, we only did fundraising up until November 2018, to doing service. We started doing feeding the hungry. We started doing food collections. We started collecting glasses. We started doing litter picks. We started to engage with the local community more to find out what they needed. After being in Lions for 6 months, because of the job I do, which is working in the National Health Service in the British Isles, I was asked to lead the Child Sight UK programme. This is the vision screening programme that we see all over Europe and America. And in the UK, we are slowly trying to introduce this project to the UK. Next slide, please. In July 2019, the gentleman in the white jacket in the middle of that photograph, Ian Gott, who was my district governor in 2019, asked me to become Sergeant at Arms for the district. This is the person in our clubs in the UK and districts in the UK, looks after the organisation of events, makes sure that we keep to time and keeps everybody in order. I'm fairly loquacious. I can talk quite a lot. So the role suited me quite well. Next slide, please. During 2020, I was given a New Voices leadership certificate by Ian Gott for the leadership role I played within our district. And in fact, the four people you see in front of you in the middle of that picture have all been through the Lions Symposium in the British Isles. Next slide, please. In 2020, I was asked to become club president. Lots of planning went into becoming president in my club, which was great. Then COVID-19 hit. So I've come to be known as the Zoom president. All of our meetings were on Zoom, which makes it more difficult. It made it more interesting, though. It allowed us to bring in a new dynamic to the club, to get people to be able to meet easily without having to come out for a meal. My club enjoyed having Zoom meetings, and now we kind of have some on Zoom, some in person. In the same year, I was asked by the District Governor, Richard Williams, to become the Global Leadership Team Lead for 105CW. A scary task at the best of times, but even scarier during COVID-19, with a district that wasn't used to using the computer, wasn't used to using Zoom, didn't particularly want to engage in online training. So we started doing some fun socials. We had an online picnic, we had an online tea party, and we started doing president training, secretary training, treasurer training, officer training for our district at the start of the pandemic. When we got to November, my district holds an autumn forum, an education event. So because we were doing it on Zoom, we chose to do one vision with a Queen music themed event, looking at everything site related. I'm really proud to say that of the 92 clubs we have in District CW, 88 clubs attended the virtual forum, which is amazing. Next slide, please. It isn't often that I can be reduced to silence or even tears, but the photograph on the left-hand side is me on the day of our district convention in 2021, where I was awarded an International President's Medal for my service to my district during COVID-19. it made me realize just what a difference we can make when we think outside the box. Moving forward for the next year, I was asked to become zone chair, which was great. I got to go out and meet people, not only see my own club, but go out and see face to face the clubs within my area and the amazing work they do. You can see pictured, a picture at the bottom of the right-hand photograph is a poppy for Remembrance Sunday. And the people that are in that club in Bedworth Lions do that artwork to give to the local community, but also to raise money for their club. Next slide, please. Here's me looking remarkably nervous. I put myself forward to become district governor, for second vice district governor in March 2022. I'm really proud to say that my district voted for me and that I became second vice district governor elect that afternoon. Bit scary considering at that point I'd been a Lion for just under 3 years. Next, please. During my time as Global Leadership Team Lead, I've completed a Faculty Development Institute and learned how Lions like to deliver our training from an international point of view. I've been really privileged to be able to deliver emerging Lions Leadership Institutes in Ireland and regional Lions Leadership Institutes in the British Isles. We've now run a couple of them, and it is really fun to see how Lions really want to engage and make a difference, and how thinking outside the box really is how we move forward. Next slide, please. Now, one of my good friends is Sue Wilding, and she is the global membership team lead for my district. So I'm about to get a slap on the wrist. I'm about to be told off. But for me, it's all about service, 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 and thinking outside of what we would normally do. On the left-hand side of the photograph, you can see me and my now club vice president, Clive, cooking breakfasts for the homeless and those in need in our city. 195 cooked breakfasts in a morning. Something different and outside the box that my club would never do. The picture at the bottom with me wearing a face mask and the lion costume next to me, the person in the lion costume is my husband. And in that picture, we are actually delivering random acts of kindness to people going in and out of train stations. On that day, we gave them flowers, cookies, biscuits, cakes, and toys to children, making people smile. Service makes us all feel good. Service is why we are Lions. Service is the key to our success. Next, please. As we go forward, I am inspired by the Young Lions Task Force Europe. Some of their projects at the moment that are thinking well and truly Europe-wide. Currently, there is a service project being planned with pen pals that allows us to communicate across the country and across the continent in a very different way, using an old skill in a very new format. For me, any kind of cooperative working is the best way of moving forward. I've been a Lion for 4 years and 1 month, and I absolutely love our organisation. I cannot wait to see where the next 4 years takes me. Thank you.
Thank you, Stu. That was so inspiring. Marco, are you ready? Because the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good job, Stu. You were in the time, absolutely. And I have to try to stay in the time. So thank you for the invitation. I'm Marco Accolla. I am an Italian man. I'm 41 years old, and I have the honor to be the district governor of the district of Milan, the city of Milan, and the little cities around. It's the only district in Italy that is just on a city. The other districts are on a region or largest part of the nation. Let me, first of all, apologize for my terrible accent, English accent, because as all the Italians, English is not our first language. But there is another problem with me. I am the district governor of the city of Milan, but I belong to Sicily, the very south of Italy. And I discovered that when I talk in English, my Sicilian accent comes out very strong. And it seems that I'm playing a role in a Godfather movie or some kind of Sopranos. So you have to be patient with me. Let's start with my journey in Lions. Can you skip the picture, please? I became a Lion in 2012, 10 years ago. And I was just 31. And Lionism in Italy and Lionism in Milan was the same as you can see in this picture. This was the typical Lions meeting that I knew when I became a Lions. You have to know that the Milan district is the district with the highest average age in Italy, and probably is the district with the highest average age of the members in all Europe. When I joined Lions, the average age of the Lions of the Milan district was 73 years old. You can imagine I was treated like not a son, a nephew, because it was so young. I was so young. And we are talking about average age, but more than 400 members of my district that at the time has 1,300 members, has more than 80 years in their lives. So you can imagine the approach of a young man knowing nothing about Lions, join this very wonderful group of people, but with a strong difference of age with me. There was something that for me was unexpected. They started to involve me in everything. I joined Lions in September. I was just a simple member, and they asked me to join in all the meetings of the cabinet of the club. And I was there just listening, of course, and learning, but I was there. You can see the first man in the right low angle of the picture is a member of my club, is a past council chairperson. He was the first one telling me, you have to stay here, look what happens, and participate. Next slide, please. We spent 4 years. I spent 4 years joining all the meetings, all the reunion of the chairperson of the club. And as to, they asked me to be the club secretary. And as Stu said, be a club secretary shows you perfectly how a Lions Club works. It was a very intensive and interesting experience that opened me the idea to try to be the president of my Lions Club. I was president of my Lions Club when I was 35 years old. And let me tell you that year, all the members, everyone was older than me, of course, started to change their mind, because I started to trying to do something new for a club that was able to, that was used to meet and have conferences about something very important, about something that was related to our service activities, but we just do meetings, no more. I started to ask him to go in the street. I started asking, there's a crowd. When I was talking about meetings with speakers, the crowd starting. I was asking to go to the street. I was asking to something physical, and they were with me. Next slide, please. It was a very successful year, not for me, but for the club, that that made a lot of service activities that were very recognized as impactful. And then the district governor that you can see on the right in this picture, Pierangelo Sant'Agostino, chose me from scratch. Nobody knew me. I was a lion so young, chose me as zone chairperson. It was an amazing experience. As Stu said, I was in contact with another aspect of our organization, the other clubs, the other activities. No one clubs do the same thing to the others. And mixing, that was my goal, mixing the activities of all the clubs that were in my zone to change and improve and connect our service activity. And it was a really good experience, a very successful experience. Next slide, please. That gave me the chance to grow. Another way to grow, an important way to grow to all our lions, young lions, is to study, to learn. And our association gives us a lot of instruments to improve our leadership. I've done the Regional Lions Leadership Institute, the Advanced. Just few months ago, I passed my FDI institute with them, that is with in our guest. The improving our leadership, studying is something that every Lions should do, and every Lions leader have to do. They gave me the chance and I was in immediately. After every session of my institutes, I said, in Italy, we say, I was walking 1 meter over the floor, because the involvement in our association, knowing how it works, it's the best you can have to be more involved. Next slide, please. In the very next years, I was involved in the activity of my district. I was GST, so I was involved in service. I was GMT, and during my year of GMT, I was also, for the second time, the president of my club. I put this picture because I love so much. If you can look at the picture and look at all the faces, you cannot find me, because I was the one to take the picture. As you can remember, we had a campaign with the blue finger for the diabetes. And in my district, we were not used to have large pictures or large communication activities. That was one of the very first one. And it was my idea to involve. This was a winter convention, to involve to everyone to put up the finger and make this amazing picture. I love it. That in those days, it happens that my club announced the endorsement for my candidacy to second by district governor. So that was a very interesting convention, district convention, because everybody was asking at me, are you sure? You are so young, you have kids, you have a job, I'm a lawyer, I've got a law firm. Are you sure you want to do this? And I said, if you want to try to put the things on another level, trying to do something different, I have to put myself in the front line. And so a lot of past district governors said to me, I don't know, maybe it's too early, think about it once, twice, but at the end of the day, I said, I keep going. Next slide, please. It was the day, it was September, October 2019. Then COVID came. So my candidacy and the convention, the district convention, when I was elected second vice district governor, was during a pandemic, was online. I wanted so much to go on the stage physically. I like to look people in the eyes and pronounce my speech, but it was online. It was a strange experience. COVID and online activities changed our life. And in the very first time, it was scary because it seems no one can do nothing. We were at home at all. But then after the first moment, we start to the Lions. So inventing new way to serve, new way to meet each other, new way to be a lion. So we start with online meetings in our district. They worked very well. We start to involve all lions and teaching them how to use Zoom or Meetup or whatever. And they learned and we were together. And let me tell you that the convention made online were more populated from lions than the one physical. So it was a success. Next slide, please. And we start changing things. As I was a second vice district governor, I tried to suggest to the district governor in charge some little changement. We start with the communication. We start with new activities online. I put the picture of Lions Walk. It was something amazing. It was made by my club. That year I was the president and also second vice district governor candidate. And we start a competition that involved quite 13 countries, 33 Lions clubs, and 223 people that walked, measuring their steps, and made a competition. And let me tell you, there was a Lions club. I know that one of the members of the club is joining us, is with us, that it was not my club. We were the organizer and we wanted to win this walk, this race, but there was one club that involved a lot of people doing what we do, involve people, and they won. It was a massive success. I started to, Miriam Mappelli is writing, yes, she won. We started to do some new online communication. We start to the trivialize, guess the pin, asking to everybody which pin is it, do you know it, and talk about it. And also sharing some picture about our main scope. Skip, please. Next slide, please. And then in that period, I've been trying with all the other members of my district to be able to be at the time of the moment that we were living. We started in those days, the first in our district, the first online crowdfunding. The first one was for COVID. The second one was for the tragedy in Lebanon. Do you remember that in Beirut exploded some magazines? We started in that period doing crowdfunding for our district. Was the very first time. And then DG. I became DG this year. In Montreal, my stripe with the elect ward was put off from another past district governor, Sergio Martina, that is a very amazing man. I was there, I made the parade and all the things. And then I was the picture with my wife, with the girl beside me is my wife. I was in Ferrara in our National Congress. I was with her. Why I posted the picture with my wife? Because being a lion a young lion, it means that you have to involve all your family. If you are young, if you got little children, all the family is involved. But talk about lions. Next, please. We go fast. We started new services approach. All the district was involved in the activities to help the Ukrainian refugees. I was in the border between Romania and Ukraine, and we shared our goods with our lions friends from Romania, and we together we supported the refugees that went to their country. Next, please. And this year we started also a new approach with the service activities. Miriam, that was writing a few minutes ago, she's our GST in the district, and she can tell us that we started with trying new things. The clubs are trying new things. We started planting trees in the schools, in every school. This is about one club, Milano Nord 92, that in every school where they do screenings or other activities, Lions activities, they plant a tree. Next slide. And then you can see also a new approach that involves young people, young lions. Those are the images of paddle tournament that the district organized last month. I was involved, I was playing paddle, but the thing that I want to show you is all the people you can see that are very young, and you can see that there are children for our district service activities that not only involve children, but that prepare activities, side activities for children, for the sons and daughters of the Lions members. It means that those young lions can join the activities, can join the meetings, but because it's not always easy to manage the family. Next, please. And then we are very close with the Leos. We can do something more, we can do more for sure, but the first picture you can see is me and the Lions Leo district president, that is Carolina Aldovrandi. She's a very talentuous girl that lead the Leo district. And sometimes when I can, and I try so much, I join the Leo activities. The right picture is a bowling tournament of a Leo club that was very, very, very funny, very involving. Next, please. And what happens when you involve young people? New young clubs and new young member join. Our district had the last club that the district made up was in 2015. After 7 years, a new Lions Club came up in the 29th of June last year. I was the Lions sponsor of this club. You can see a part of the new members. And as you can see, the average age is under 40. We got new young members that join our association because they see young people doing services, doing activities. Maybe for a little part, it's also because they can see a young governor, but it's not just this. It's the activity, is the group of people that lead the district. Next, please. Let me tell you that sometimes in our organization, it seems that there is a base of the normal Lions that does everything, and there is a up floor where there are the leadership that seems like untouchable. This is not true. Being a Lions and join the convention or every international meeting gives you the chance to know directly, immediately, our international leadership. When you start to be a leader in your club, in your district, you can easily reach our maximum leadership, and they are so close to us. They can help us. They give us all the strength and all the inspiration. We have got the picture with Douglas Aleksandra, with Brian, that is my international president, with Patty, and also with Elena Piani, that is the Italian international director, very close to the clubs, to the districts, and very interested with young people, young lions, and young activities. This is very important for us.
Marco,
Next, please. We are
Hi.
going to the end. Next, please.
but unfortunately, we don't have much time.
I'm closing. It was very long. The last secret, a great district team. This year, for the very first year, we got a team that has that is 56 years old of average age, and they are very talented, very involved, and as you can see in the picture, they don't stop even if there is an hard work to do. Next one. And the last one is thank you for you. Thank you for all that you do. Let me tell you that I really appreciate those kind of initiatives, to be linked, to be connected with the other lions, young, old, but people that want to be in a network and talk each other with a physical or a not physical way, as we are doing today, is the best thing that we can have, because Lions International has two words, Lions and international. And to be international, we have to be connected. And the easy way to be connected is by online. I'm Melissa, and Young Lion Networks do an amazing job for this. Thank you so much. Sorry for the delay, for my long time. I'm Italian and I'm a lawyer. I can talk for hours. I'm sorry to be late.
Thank you both. Your stories were amazing. Alper?
Yes, thank you guys. It was amazing. And thank you for including your Lions journey, but also talking about services, talking about other members in your district. So it was very, very inspiring. So right now, Firesiders, the floor is yours. So we will take your questions. If you have a raise hand function that you see in your screen, please click on it. If you don't see that, please write in the chat box and I will read it out loud. Or if you raise your hand, I will unmute you so you can ask your questions. So right now I'm screening. Any questions from anyone? Easy questions, please. Okay, until you think about your questions, we have some questions prepared by GAT staff. So, Anelia, as you are a GAT area leader, could you please share the questions with us so Marka and Stu can answer them?
Hello, dear friends. I would like to place some questions for our young lions. Anything that would be inspiring and showcase Lions as a great place for young people. We are interested to know what would make you feel better and more welcome in Lions, because our task as new voices is to attract more new members and young members as well. So if you share with us, you can just put in the chat what we have to change or what we have to do in Lions to attract more younger members. What could be inspiring for you as young members. And we are also interested to know if young Lions want and need to have their mentors in Lions, or they can do it themselves.
Stu might have some ideas about mentorship, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. My mentors have been really quite varied from all sorts of strange places. The The obvious one is my first district governor, who's a guy called Stuart Sherman Carr. I have to say his name is spelt the wrong way because, you know, my name's spelt the correct way. And he's currently on the screen in a very bright red Mickey Mouse jumper for Christmas. Stuart has been a great sounding board. And he's the one that's been involved in the organisation for about 10 years. So understands the intricacies of it. But interestingly, I think my best mentor is actually my longest serving lion in my club. He's a guy called Ernest Parbury. He has just been given a 45-year chevron. And he is, in his words, old-fashioned, a grumpy old man. His words, not mine. But he has a depth of knowledge and passion for lionism that you can't take away from him. Every time he sees me, he tuts and tells me off, because you'll always see me in a polo shirt. You won't see me in a shirt and tie. If he's our tail twister at the meeting, he'll fine me £2, €4-ish, for not wearing a shirt and tie. I think anybody can mentor anybody in lionism because it comes from passion and comes from understanding.
Thank you, Stu. We can also come shirtless, I think. It can be a thing in the future. So, Marco, your ideas?
I think that the answer could be the same for the two questions. What we can do to involve much more young members, and what about mentorship? I joined Lions because young Lions, he was 45 years old at the time, asked me to join in a meeting, and I was there. It was a very playful meeting, and I started to frequent the club. Not as member, of course. But then the Lions with more experience started to talk with me, teach me, explain me how it works. And this kind of mentorship that is not what sometimes it happens, young Lions as the one that have to move the tables and build up the stages. But people that explain you how it works, what are our scopes, it's the most important thing. Then another aspect that I would like to underline is that if you want to involve young people, you have also to put in front young people. The Lions with experience are terrifically important. They are very important, but they are more important as mentors. Because if you can find some young Lions, and when we talk about Lions, we talk about young, even if we talk about 40 years old members. But when you are 40, you can lead a company. You can also lead a club or a district. Lions with experience have to stay beside, have to help. They've got time, they've got experience. They could be a very strong effort for the young Lions that have the new vision and the capacity to attract young members. Hi, Luciano.
Thank you. And Luciano, I asked to unmute you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think that we have heard two incredible stories of confidence this evening between now the story of Stu and Marco that talk about their experience to passing through the resistance and the prejudice of the old generation of Lions electing to young Lions. Do you think that, this is a question for both, do you think that the sentiment between the old Lion is more open than in the past? I remember my story as a Lion because I became 20 years ago, and I was a member of a New Century Club. Was the only way to become a Lion, because I remember that my original Lions Club. I was a Leo before, and I was also a district president, do not want to accept young members. And so the only solution was to create a new club. So do you think that the things all changed today, and the situation with your experience as a vice district governor and as district governor shows something different comparing with the past?
Can I tell you something? First of all, Luciano is one of the few Italians that can speak very good English. Second one, a brief answer is me and Stu are the answer. In 10 years ago, there would be no way in Milan to have a 40 years old district governor. There would be no way. There would be a mess and a lot of competition. I was a lonely candidate. After I announced my candidacy, no one candidate against me with me. And this was because things are changing. We can see it I can see it in my club earlier, in my district in the last years, and in our multiple district, as you know well, Luciano, because in Italy, we have got a renovating period.
I think I'm reminded of something that someone said at Europa Forum. If you want to involve youth, don't just ask them to move the tables, get them involved in the decision-making about why you're moving the tables and where you're moving them to. I think Lions is changing. My dad, he lives in Cyprus now, and he was very proudly introducing me to somebody from a neighbouring club over the summer. Oh, this is my son. He's second vice district governor-elect, because we hadn't had convention at that point. And this gentleman just stood there, looked me up and down and went, "He's a boy, no." And my dad went, "No, he's a man, he's 40, and yes." And we had coffee with this guy, and then we disappeared and did our own thing. And my dad got a phone call 2 days later from the gentleman apologizing because he'd stalked me on Facebook and found out what I was doing. So yes, opinions are changing, attitudes are changing. We are always going to have resistance to change, because as human beings, we don't like change. Human beings like things being the same and the norm. But we're an evolving organization. Think back 30 years ago, we still didn't allow ladies into the organization. Now we do.
Kim, go.
Hi, I'll be quick. So I have several young mentors in my club, because technology can be a challenge for me, and I lean upon them. Also, certain ideas from different generations. In order for me to tap into those ideas, I certainly need to look towards our younger members, 19, 20, under 25. Do you have mentors as well, Marco and Stu, that are younger, that inspire you?
Yep, I've got a young girl who is now in my club. She wasn't in my club, called Sophie Mosley, who's been a Lion for 6 years, and she's 28. She reverse mentors me quite a lot. She really does make me think about how we can engage with the younger generation. If you want to know quite how much she's dragged me into the 21st century, bearing in mind I live on Facebook and Instagram, she's had me doing TikTok, and my club now has a TikTok. Last Shrove Tuesday, Leo the Lion, my husband dressed up in the lion costume, was cooking pancakes on a TikTok.
TikTok is too much for us. We have to reach them, but we will arrive. We will arrive. We have got young Lions mentors. It depends what do you mean about young, because we talk about young people when we are 40, when we got children, when we got companies, when we got law firm. You can be inspiring also when you are 30. there are a lot of lions. The one that says in Zagabria at the Europa Forum, we don't want to be the one who move the tables, but the one to take the decision to move the tables, is an Italian lion. He was a Leo last year. He was the president of the multiple district of Leo, and now he's a lion. He is great. He's one of the people most involving ever. Those people, there are people that are able to involve, to mentor, to share naturally. We have to find them and put them on the stage.
Thank you for your answers.
And next question, Celeste.
Alper is Manuel. Celeste is the first name.
Hi,
Oh,
Manuel.
Manuel.
Hi, man.
Great.
I wrote the whole name to see it. Okay. Hello, everyone. In the first time, I want to congratulate Stuart and Marco for sharing the stories. Is the story that they told to us is, for me, is almost the same, because also I'm second vice governor elected this year, and Stu will be together in Melbourne. In Australian, you must say Melbourne. Okay, so my question, after all your programs that you present, I want to show some things too, if you see it.
Ooh.
Yep. Oh, a task force pin.
Okay, and Marco, your activity in Romania is also noted. Okay, so my question is, if you have, how hard was for you to be accepted the oldest lions in your district, and if you have some opinions against you, how you proceed, because lions is an organism, it's not perfect, but you must go farther. That's the question.
I think for me, it's an English phrase. I'm not quite sure if it'll be understood, but whippersnapper, young person, someone that is too young to do something, was how I was described when I first started to do things in district. And the only way you change that is to have the integrity to be a lion, to deliver the service, to live up to the things you have said you're going to do, and to deliver them. Because nothing can ever prove someone more wrong is that when you achieve the things that you say you're going to achieve. For me, when I was asked to become the sergeant at arms for the district and then the leadership team lead for the district, it was about making sure that I had people with me that were young, people with me that were old, people with me that could honour our traditions and look in a forward way to doing new things, but that make sure that whatever we did as a group, we achieved so that we did the best we could for Lions and our district. And therefore, anybody that was being negative at that point realised that actually, I might not be a lion of 30 years, but I've got the heart of a lion, and therefore they need to let me get on with what I'm doing. And to be fair, it was actually one of our oldest members of the district, wife, that persuaded me to be second vice district governor.
Okay, guys, we have last 6 minutes, so we have to get our last question. Brett, I ask to unmute you, and Michael, please write down your question to the chat box, and we will ask the guys to answer it, and we will send all the participants all the answers. So Marco and Stu, you will be not finished today. You will have time to answer all the questions.
Thank
Okay,
you,
Brett,
Alper.
go.
Thank you, Alper. So it's interesting to note that both Marco and Stu said that they really enjoyed being a zone chair. many districts find that it's incredibly difficult to fill zone and region chairs. We all know why. So my question is, what are your tips to encourage young Lions to fill these roles while balancing family and work commitments?
Can you repeat the last part of your question, please? I'm sorry, but it wasn't, for me, it wasn't.
What are your tips to encourage young Lions to fill zone and region chair roles while balancing family and work commitments?
In 2 minutes, Marco.
Yeah, it's very easy. The answer, it's hard, but it worked. The experience is amazing. Be a Lion as a family, as a job. Be a Lion leader. District governor or zone chairperson. Zone chairperson is easier. District governor is something that involves you every day, all the day, full stop. Then it's very hard. It lasts 1 year, luckily, but it is something that you will remember forever. So if you feel a Lion and you want to serve your association, you have to do it.
Stu, nothing?
Yeah. Find young people, younger members that have been zone chairs to talk about their positive role model experience. If ever you want to inspire someone to be a zone chair, it is the best job in Lionism. It opens your eyes to what other people are doing. It also means that you can go and borrow, pinch, steal any great ideas for your own club.
And make them work together. Make them work together, clubs together. That is magic.
And today we also had a short story from Slovenia, but we have no time. But Lorena, I promise to you that we will invite you to the next Fireside chat so we can listen to you, because as Marco said, we have to listen to everyone, not just young people, but we have to listen to members with just 1 year, right, here in Lions, or many years, old and young, all together. So Alex, the floor is yours.
Okay, guys, since we don't have much time, I want to thank you from our team for being here today with us. And we want to wish you happy holidays. You can follow us on social media if you didn't know that already. And see you in the next Fireside.
Bye.
Aleksandra, sorry. No, just a moment, friends. There are something, because I had the duty to have an eye on the chat, there is something that I would like to refer to you if you haven't read it there. You wrote very interesting things and a lot of compliments for our two speakers. But what impressed me are some sentences. For example, less protocol and more fun would be more welcoming for new members. And I think it is absolutely true, because we are in Lions also for having fun, serving, having fun. That's correct. And then another interesting thing, all voices must be heard. And this is very important. All voices, new voices. If we join our experience and if we join our enthusiasm and our competencies, we will have a great Lion Association. If we join our experience and if we join our celebrate your success, and every Lions and Leos has a lot of in his and in her perspectives, and we have to know those perspectives. And other interesting things were written. We thank you so much. Once more, I want to greet Pirko, our international director, and Schneckner, the area leader. And really, thank you so much. We hope to see you in our next Fireside. Our compliments to each of you, and also to Alper and Aleksandra that were fantastic in leading our fireside. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye
guys
bye.
so
Alper,
much.
Alex, and to
Ciao,
our
buon Natale.
Buon Natale a
Everyone is
tutti.
on mute. You can
Hi,
say Merry
Amelia.
Christmas.
to everybody.
I see
Merry
you can
Christmas.
say Happy Holidays.
Everything the best to everybody.
Bye.
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 It was great.
Good to see you. Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Buon Natale.
Was a great meeting.